Hello everyone, my name is Nathaniel Clark and welcome to video 1 in my 4-part series on Canon Literature versus New Literacies. This video series is being made for my CI EDTHP and AFAM 492 class taught by Dr. Staples Dixon at the Pennsylvania State University College of Education. Before we begin, I would like to introduce myself a little. So my name, previously stated, is Nathaniel Clark. I do attend the Pennsylvania State University and I'm in my 3rd year working towards a Bachelor in Science and Secondary Education with a focus in English Studies. Additionally, I have a minor in English. As you can tell based on both my major and minor, English is a big focus in my educational prowess. I love media, I love books, and being able to teach students about literacy and teach students about analysis and teach students on media studies is something that I look deeply towards in becoming an educator. However, I want to focus a little bit on the differences between canon literature and new literacies with this series. So let me lay out the roadmap a little. As you can see here, our first episode is going to be on canon literature. Specifically, we'll be talking about what exactly is canon literature and what are its apparent shortcomings, specifically in correlation with the American educational system. So let's get the largest part of that video out of the way and define canon literature. So to find my answer, I ended up looking towards writer Devin Pryor and his definition on the website Language Humanities to define what exactly is a literary canon. To take from this piece that I have pulled, the term literary canon refers to a classification of literature. It is a term used widely to refer to a group of literary works that are considered the most important of a particular time period or place. For example, there can be a canon composed of works from a particular country, or works written within a specific set of years, or even a collection of works that were all written during a certain time period and within a certain region. In this way, a literary canon establishes a collection of similar or related literary works. So that definition is pretty broad, but we get a good idea of what a literary canon is. It is a collection of works that are highly considered to be influential and important in a specific genre, in a specific time period, however you would like to define it. However, further along this piece, there is a quote that I would like to directly focus on. Specifically, it states, "Often, the popularity of a literary work is based not only on the quality, but the relevance of its subject matter to historical, social, and artistic context." With this in mind, I want to focus on the literary canon present in American education. Specifically, what is that literary canon? Based on my readings and based on my analysis, it's very obvious that the American educational system has been exclusively focused on the Western literary canon. You may be asking me, what is the Western literary canon? Well, it doesn't directly focus on one specific time period. What I have noted is that books like 1984, The Lord of the Flies, The Great Gatsby, Fahrenheit 451, To Kill a Mockingbird, and Romeo and Juliet all share a common thing, and that is they are books written for an English reading audience. They are books written at that time for an English reading audience. However, that comes with catalysts. Majority of the time, looking at these books, you'd be looking at a predominantly white audience. So a lot of these books reflect that white audience. They specifically focus on white protagonists, preferably or most of the time male protagonists. While that is fine in historical contexts. I feel like the Western canon, especially in America, has led to books being propped up as the best of all time, when in reality it's just because they are a part of this literary canon. For example, we look at this Goodreads list that I found when researching for this video, that it is a ranking of the greatest novels of all time, not of Western literature, of all time. It's meant to encapsulate every single book that has ever been written on this globe. However, you look at this top 5, and all you see are predominantly white writers and one female. And that brings me to the question, what or who is missing in the Western literary canon? You can probably already rattle off various thoughts in your mind, and I probably don't need to name them, but I'm going to. Predominantly women are missing here. Well, if we look at that Goodreads list, Pride and Prejudice was number 1. That is a very rare occurrence. People of color are missing. Members of the LGBTQIA+ are missing. It is a predominantly white, cis circumstance in the Western literary market. Speaking on whiteness, I also want to focus on the Western literary canon's lack of individuals outside of the West. Some great works are made not in the West. That shouldn't be a shocking statement, but to some it is. Every single country on this globe has made artistic and literary works that are valid and should be held up to the exact same level as any Western piece. However, due to the language barriers that have been set up in this society, they go unnoticed by the public. However, and in my view, I think we're very lucky in this society today, that individuals are more willing to go outside of their language, and through translations, through dubbing, etc., people are able and are starting to actually consume media from outside of the West. However, if we look at the Western literary canon, that just hasn't spread there yet. In essence, I think the Western literary canon represents stagnation. A lot of these books were written at the earliest 60 to 70 years ago. Society in America and society on this globe at large has progressed since then. Individuals have voices when they used to not have them before. Societies move in different facets. The American education system focusing on books from a period when this was not occurring is not right. And this brings me to a bit of a story time. When researching this work, I ended up talking to one of my professors here. And I asked her, hey, what books did you read when you were in high school? And I was sadly not shocked to hear this, but she relayed the exact same books that I expected her to. She said Romeo and Juliet. She said To Kill a Mockingbird. She said 1984. She said Catcher in the Rye. These books are classics in the Western literary canon. However, when she was going into school in the 1980s, which is over 30 years before when I went to school, so much progress happened in society between those years. However, the American education system focuses on continuously teaching them, which brings me to my biggest question. Why do these books prevail? Why is the Western literary canon present? Or why is it present? And in my view, it's due to the standardization of education. There's this direct focus in America's white, standardized, mostly misogynistic society that things need to be the same. Everyone needs to fit the exact same standards. Everyone needs to be able to pass this level in order to advance in the educational world. And that, in my view, leads to the concept of, if it ain't broke, don't fix it. These books fit teaching the standards which educators need to teach with. And rather than picking up new books and formatting and teaching them with the standards for the first time, a lot of educators, set in the circumstance, end up just relying on the books that have been taught for decades. And in my view, as an up-and-coming educator, I want that to end with my generation of educators. This directly brings into my next few points, and to not spoil anything, I'm going to end the video here. Thank you very much for watching. You can follow my Instagram, which handle is right there, and I will see you all in the next video.